then, folks, welcome back to another episode of AFC Thames with me, DoctorBenjyFM. It's a bit of a transfer special, not a Ben Sports News level transfer special, but we have been very, very busy. And the big news regarding Ben Sports News is that he's no longer clickable or signable, or I don't know what he's doing. So we'll check in with him at some point, probably, right? We are prone to do that now and again. But I think this is what he'd want. He'd want us to talk about the transfer business that's gone on, and there has been a lot of it. We'll start with the exits. I'm sort of in the way, but they're all free transfers. They are all gone, and we cleared house, basically. The likes of Gio Craig was still with us. He's left us now. There's so many names here that you'll be familiar with, and half of them you probably will have no idea of. Ones you'll be familiar with. McCready's probably one of them. Sam Hanna, of course, that's just been in our under-23s for a long time. Chris Owens, who played left-back for us last season. The likes of Sonny Best and Josh Taylor, who are decent players. Reece Hall and Wrench, that played pretty familiarly last year. But they've all gone. We had to create space, not just for the new players to come in, but it was what they stood for, really. They just weren't of the quality and the level that we need to be a competitive side this season. Speaking of being a competitive side this season, now bear in mind that that's the season preview after I've done all my transfers. We play Walsall later today, who are a step above. Let me show you Theopolis Adiemi. Yeah, that's why they're a step above. We don't have players like this. It's not fair. I've given myself the toughest game to show you as the first game of the season. Although we have played a game this season. If you follow me on Twitter, you'll know what happened. But before we get to that then, let's talk about not just the outs, but the ins that we've brought in. Of all the transfers, Eldrick Smith has also left as well. He's left on a free, but was a player that wasn't really featuring for us in any way, shape or form. And you can see we've brought in 11 names, 11 players that I think will help us go to the next level. And that, for me, is being in the playoffs, not even having a concern with a few games to go. I've been relegated in those playoff positions. And our first game, just to show you very quickly, was an 8-2 victory over Barrow. You'd 8-2 Barrow, wouldn't you? A little bit concerning that they had quite a few opportunities to score, but when you score 8 goals, you're less concerned. York, who we'll talk about in a minute, and Duckworth up front, both getting hat-tricks. Absolutely sensational. So let's talk through these new players then. We'll go through them just in the order in which they were signed. That seems the most logical. So Michael Monet was the first, an Irishman, 24 years of age. I've actually had him on my radar for a little while. That 16 finishing can't be ignored. Decent heading ability. Some nice mental attributes for this level as well. Acceleration of 11 is decent. Good technique too. So definitely going to be sort of a third, fourth choice striker. He and Marsh Hughes will play similar ways like that. I don't think I'll start either of them on a regular basis, but I'd be happy to start them if we had to. Welcome Michael Monet. Has spent time at Boston United and Bromley and all over the place. Next up, a man that we actually had at the beginning of last season, and I should say actually, and Matt Scott is a good example of this, we have got the higher caliber attributes on that you would have when your game starts, right? So 11 to 16, or 11 and above, or 11 to 16 are a certain color, and then 16 and above. I think we've got 11 to 15 actually, then green goes 16 and above. So if these players look slightly worse than what you're expecting, just know we're now in the National League looking at those higher level players where their standout attributes are real standout attributes. But Mark Scott, of course, the player that was with us last season on loan from Solihull Moors, went to Salisbury after that, and then we've managed to get on a free transfer to play at the base of our defence this year. 19 years of age. I'm so happy to have him. Again, could be here for a couple of seasons and will definitely start every game that he's available for me. I say, really happy to have him. I think this is going to give us a lot more depth in this side. And having a player like him, I want to say depth, I mean like quality of depth. Having him start means that there's players below him now that are still very good but won't even start because he's here. Whereas last season, especially when he left, we really lacked players like this. So yeah, feel good about it. Our bad form last season was lots to do with him leaving. Next up, Andrew Parker, right-sided player. We've brought a couple of them in, just a winger. System-wise, we are changing things up quite dramatically. Of course, if you saw the very end of last season, you know what we're playing. Again, if you follow me on Twitter, you'll probably have seen we're playing that 3-4-1-2 system with right wingers. So I had to bring a couple in, and Andrew Parker is the first of those. 24 years of age, decent crossing and dribbling, decent physical and mental attributes. That work rate of 14 really appeals to me. So Andrew Parker, welcome. Next up, Robin Stevens can play in a couple of positions. It's interesting, really the attacking midfield role is where I see him fitting in the most. Good dribbling, good first touch, decent enough passing. Again, some nice mental attributes as well. Physically lacking a little bit, but very much a backup player. 18 years of age, got him on a free from Bristol Rovers. Again, we're paying him nothing, so it's kind of just a nice player to have around if you need extra options, especially in cup games and things like that. Hakeem Adelakun is our other right-sided player, a little bit older, this fella, and played in our first game, of course, where we won quite significantly. So you can see there, decent physically, decent crossing. Again, a man that, because of the colours that we've got, the 10's actually quite impressive here, really. So yeah, a really well-rounded player. Has been all over the place, from West Ham to Scunthorpe to Portsmouth to Thames, with a few teams in between. And yeah, happy to bring him in. Was in League One last year, played a couple of games, now comes to the National League with us, and I think he'll fit in just fine. McNeely next. Peter McNeely, again, solid left-back option. I don't plan on playing a left-back, but I think it's decent to have one, and Peter's going to be that guy. So if we do change to a 4 at some point, or play with wing-backs at some point, this is the right sort of player for us. Looks decent enough, with some potential still to maybe move into. 23 years of age, pick him up. He's been at Walsall, South Shields, most recently at Hayes and Yedding, in the Southern Premier South, where all great players are made, and now he joins us. So welcome, Peter. Ollie Coker up next, 25 years of age, another really good centre-back. Again, maybe doesn't look that fantastic when you look at it to begin with, but decent jumping reach again for this level. We'll take 12 all day long. 10, 8, 9s in the marking, heading and the tackling, not in that order. Decent positioning though, and it was these that I really liked: anticipation, composure, decision making, concentration, things like that. You don't get a lot of players with sort of double digits at this level, so I was really happy to get him. 5'11", might be one of those concerns, but with the jumping reach I'm not too concerned. Was at Gosport Borough last season in the Vanarama South, and now joins us. Has played in League 2 a little bit here and there too, so he's got some experience at higher levels. Next up, Callum Ferry, and this one is a little bit controversial because we've bought a goalkeeper that I'm probably going to start. I am a huge Dean Fleming fan. Where is he? There he is. But there's been seasons with Dean Fleming where I feel like he's been part of the problem, right? 34 games last season, only 8 clean sheets. I don't know if he just needs a little bit of a break and then to come back in and he can continue to develop and things like this. But Callum Ferry is that classic sort of 3-star current ability goalkeeper that you're looking for to play most games. You can see just how well-rounded he is. That's part of the reason we want him. 30 years of age, has been all over the place. We've spent a lot of time in Scotland as well. And yeah, I think he's the right player for us right now. Again, having the likes of Dean Fleming ready to play if we need to, of course off the bench as well, then we can do that. But yeah, Ferry's going to come in and say he's going to start until he makes an error, which is egregious. All right, next up, Dino Leddy. It's a great name, a real name as well. That is his real name. That 13 heading, 14 tackling, hard to miss. Really good jumping reach as well. 6'2", great positioning. Again, lacking a few of these sort of anticipation, composure attributes that you've got in some of the other defenders. But 27 years of age, you can see that 4-star current ability. However much credence you give the star ratings at this level, it's a pretty good, to me, it's always been a pretty good indicator of how decent a player is within the squad that we've got. And this man is up there, so we'll definitely start for us. Again, a man that's been all over the place, really. Played the National League last season. Is a really, I think, a really good free pickup for us. Happy to have him, and yeah, I think we've got ourselves a good defender here. Leddy, welcome. Omar Banks up next. We have an affiliation now with Luton as well as Leighton Orient, and we took advantage of that. We've brought in Omar Banks, who plays a position that we don't currently play, but can play either side, can play through the middle as well, or play up front if required. So we've got a few options with him. Basically, we're paying him very, very little to be here, so I think it's probably worth having a player of this quality around. Those physical attributes are a standout for me. Work rate's very good too. So yeah, decent little player for us to bring in. And finally, the creme de la creme. It's a loan signing from Cambridge United. He's already scored a hat-trick for us. Welcome, Martin York. Now, for me, this Welshman is one of the best signings we've made in the series so far, I dare say. 15 finishing, great first touch, and you can see from some of those mental attributes, decent composure and off the ball, but it's the rest of them, right? It's the teamwork, the bravery, the aggression. You love to see all of those things, and 12 acceleration means at this level, he's going to score goals. As I say, so far this season, 3 goals in 1. Was bought by Cambridge on a free transfer last season, played loads of games with them in friendlies and things like that, but didn't do very well at all. But you can see, scored goals at Vanarama South level. It's a couple of years on, and so far for us, already has a 10 rating in the bag. So it's going to be interesting to see if him and Duckworth can do the business, and that's where we come to the team then. This is the lineup we're going for. I am going to say something controversial here. I don't believe in these red boxes being major issues based on the game I've played in the first one. Of course, if players have wingers that are playing high up, these are problem areas, but I don't think major is the correct terminology. So what I'm going to do, viewers, is ignore those red boxes. Is that good with us all? Fantastic. I could just get rid of them entirely and change. Can you change the analysis? There we are. We don't need to look at how red those boxes are. You know what? This is better. So the team then will be Ferry in goal, Coker, Scott and Leddy at the back, completely new back line, Brunt and Fenwick in the centre. Of course, still got Angus Brunt here, still got Chris Fenwick, so two decent midfielders that I'm still very, very happy with. Of course, Cohen plays there pretty regularly too. Adelakun will be on the right-hand side for now, but of course, options there now with lots of different players that could come in and play. Cooper on the left, played the first game, not fully fit for the second one. We could gamble and play Omar Banks there, or maybe we've got a few options out there that we could maybe feature, but it's a little tricky considering they're not natural in the role. Cohen's going to play just behind the two strikers, that 15 passing, 15 teamwork, good flair as well. I like him in those forward areas. And I say Duckworth and York up front. Duckworth and York are very similar strikers, but that's kind of what we're looking for. And if they keep scoring hat-tricks in both games, or in every game we play, then that's fine with me. All right then, let's get on with it. Let's play Walsall, who, as I say, are considered the best side in the division. We are currently top of the league after a stunning first game. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you one of the goals from that game, just to show you just how good we were. It was the first goal of the season by Duckworth. This is one of my favourite goals ever on Football Manager. Ever. I know, ever. Okay, this is the goal, viewers. We're going to get to watch it. Fenwick, left-footed. It's a first-time left-footed, dinked volley over the goalkeeper. Absolutely fantastic. I'm glad it's let us watch it together. Loads of the goals we had in this game were fantastic, by the way. We were really, really on fire. I think I was going to show you just one. I'm going to show you another one. This through ball that's coming up here from us, that's not it. That comes up to put us in again. I don't know what it was. From deep midfield roles, we were finding passes that just looked really, really good, to the point where we were getting in easily. Here's Angus Brunt. Look, this is the pass. Look at the state of that by Angus Brunt. A great finish from Duckworth. We're on for it this season. We're on for it. So how to ruin a good vibe and a good mood? Play Walsall. Here we go. Again, do I play Joel Cooper, or do I bring in, the likes of Avero are still here, I should say, Reeve is still here, lots of players from last season, but we had to change it. Something had to change. I might gamble and play Banks. He's left-footed as well. I might play him on that left-hand side. This might be a bit of a gamble considering he can't play there. Don't want to look at it. Don't want to see it. All right. Cooper's a very sort of just consistent player. He's got sort of that James Milner effect on this side, I feel like. So it's sad to leave him out. But we've got a lot more pace with Banks on the left-hand side. All right. Walsall. They are the best team in the league. We're coming off the back of an 8-2 victory over Barrow, a side that is predicted to be far better than us this season. I should say we are in the white kit here as well. I have no idea how against the better teams we will do, but it does make me very, very nervous as they're immediately coming forward. We'll hide some of this, as that is a fine challenge. I'm calm. I'm so calm. It goes through the man a little bit, a tiny bit, but not enough for me, as he takes the ball cleanly. Adeyemi, who's one of the best players in the division, scores after 3 minutes. And why did I just thought late last night, I'll just play one. It'll be fine. And then when you win it 8-2, you're like, oh, I've got to do the next one now. I can't play a few more. You can't win 8-2 and then not talk about it as like a main point. Very frustrating. I don't win 8-2 very often either. Imagine if that was the video. I'm very sad. I was 3-0 up as well after 15 minutes, and I thought, should have done this as the video. This would have been a great video. Sometimes that's the way the Football Manager cookie crumbles, as they've had a penalty. I mean, here we go then. Corner, lofted in, cleared away. We're going to get there first, though. Cohen's going to be out to it, and it's going to be whether, as we'll just hide this league table, whether we can get these front two involved a little bit. Brunt, that is just the most unfortunate situation, as they're trundling forward. It's nice to see big stadiums all of a sudden. Some of these bigger sides that have dropped down, Walsall one of them. Walsall a big side in this division, viewers. Walsall not normally known as a big side, as that lofted ball forward. We talked about some of our fantastic passing in the first game. We haven't seen it there, as they're continuing to keep it. What system are they playing? This is probably something I should have looked at before now, viewers, but we'll just take a look. It's a 4-4-2. One of the systems I think gives this system quite a lot of problems in my historical way of playing it. There we are. Yeah, basically, you have one winger, and they're able to double up with a fullback and a winger, which is not ideal. Interesting, they're playing a defensive winger on one side. This is not one of the preferred formations for this system. Playing 4-2-3-1, this system does really well against that because of the spaces that open up. Against a good Walsall side playing 4-4-2, this is going as, this is not going. Right, I want to see something. Do you know what I mean? I want us to see something, whether it be a York goal or a really nice bit of technical play from us. I want to see us do something in the game that you can go, wow, that is That'll do. Do you know what that will do? Is the thing a Cohen's left-footed finish? It doesn't really explain anything that we've done well in the summer window. But that is a lovely goal. Banks throws it to York, who lays it off to Brunt, who finds a Cohen. It's very, very quick. Look at that. It's a lovely finish as well from a Cohen. And yeah, it's 2-1. Right, I'm pleased with how things are going. I think 2-1 behind at Walsall is. It's not really that bad. I'm not going to change too much. We're still playing, we're playing this system in a sort of controlled possession style, which is not something I thought I would be doing, but the way in which it's worked for us in pre-season and in that first league game, it was kind of, I was watching it thinking, this is actually very fun to be a part of. That, by Ferry, well, do you know what? I'm seeing a few signs now that we've done all right in this window. I saw quite a few in the game against Barrow. There was lots, 8 signs in that one. I will say one of the goals that Barrow scored didn't cover Ferry in glory, if we're being honest. As the game's going on then, we're 55 minutes in. Something I'm going to do occasionally because of the style that he plays is move Banks further forward. He's obviously more natural in that position. Whether that means he plays slightly better, if he's slightly better further forward, closer to strikers, then I guess we're going to find out in a game like this one. Ordinarily, defensively, he'll sit in a similar place as we'd want him to anyway. You could play him on sort of the left side in an attack duty, and he'd probably play a similar thing to he's playing right now. That is a really decent save. That, by the way, is a really good example of why playing 3 doesn't always work, because if teams are quickly able to cross the ball across field anyway and do things like this, we suddenly look really stupid very, very quickly. Markman there, ironically, not being marked by any man in too much space, and Ferry, it's a good save by Ferry, but Windsor's there to knock home. 20 minutes to go, and I've got to be honest, it's not a great game for us to endure together. Michael's going to come on for York, who's had a quiet one. Not hat tricks for both of them in this particular game. I guess sometimes this will happen, but I do think there's lots to be excited about. And I'll say this now: Walsall will be like top 3 coming at the end of the season. If they're not, then they've had the worst season of their lives. As is there still a chance for us here? Brunt plays it across to Fenwick. As we're keeping it. System-wise, it's quite interesting to see where Banks is playing here. I don't want Banks playing next to these strikers at all. You move him further forward, he's all over the place. He now drops a little bit deeper. Can he slide the ball through? A Cohen, that's the 15 passing. It's a good chance. I'll tell you what, they clear it very quickly. There's a reason a Cohen is playing just behind. That level of passing that other players in this division do not have might prove crucial. We've been defeated. I kind of knew that this would happen when I knew this was the game. It's a fantastic team talk to round off the day as well. As, back down to reality a little bit after the 8-2 victory. That will happen, of course, and we'll have to see how we fare against some of the other sides in and around us then. Barrow actually win their game against Eastleigh, so it shows just how good that win was on the first day. Hard to replicate that, but we'll give it our best shot. Lots of fixtures then this season to play. It's a league season. Of course, there's lots of fixtures to play. The ones that we will come to next then will probably be in the middle of November. Of course, we've now played through a league season at this level. We've got to know some of the teams, and of course the big thing now is getting to know some of these players. So we might come back for that FA Cup 4th round qualifying and maybe play Kings Lynn or Fleetwood either side. Kings Lynn might be a good one to play considering the end of last season. If you enjoyed today's video, please drop a like on it. If you want to see some more, make sure you subscribe, and we love with care from us. Until next time, see you again soon. Goodbye. Oh, and before we go, don't forget Grand Theft Auto videos, GTA videos, me playing sort of role-play GTA over on the second channel, link in the descriptions for that. Loads of you seem to be loving that. There's thousands of you, literally thousands of you loving watching it. So if you're not on that hype train quite yet, get yourself in the description, check it out. I promise you won't regret it.
Yo, save my brother.
I feel like you've hit my car there.